So why can we borrow from minor, but not from major? We've mentioned many times how it's much more effective to borrow from minor, but not from major. But is it even true? And if so, why? Borrowing from other modes is a very effective way to add interesting colors to your song. So why is it that borrowing from minor is so effective, but borrowing from major isn't? Or is it? If you're new to MDEX Music, we create music books and apps, piano arrangements, and we discuss improvisation, songwriting, and sometimes we take music theory to strange and uncharted places. So subscribe and hit the bell, and join us for exclusive access to our ever-expanding library of music resources. It's all about tension and release. Every note in a chord has a favorite target note that lives in the target chord. For example, in a perfect authentic cadence, the leading tone in a 5/7 chord wants to resolve to the tonic of a 1 chord. The B in a G7 wants to resolve to the C in a C chord. And the F in that same G7 chord wants to go to the E in the C chord. Or in the case of C minor, the F would be drawn to the E flat. More importantly, the 9th of the G7 wants to resolve to the 5th of C, A moving to G. And in a G7 flat 9 to C minor, the A flat would go to a G. So we have these two different 9ths from two different 5 chords, an A and an A flat. And the cool thing is that when you're listening to a piece of music in C major, this A is a constant presence across the progression. This is a consequence of the key that we're in. In other words, whether it's explicit or not, whether it's present in our chord or our melody, the presence of this pitch is constantly felt. There's an A in the D minor chord, there's an A in the F chord, there's an A in the C major scale, and there's an A in every primary chord scale of the key. This is why your brain will fabricate the A in places where it doesn't even exist. The pitch is intrinsic to the key. So when we borrow the 5 chord from minor, this ever-present A briefly turns into an A flat. This means we're kind of introducing a passing tone that connects the A with the G of our target. The main problem with borrowing from major is the movement that it creates as it relates to these 9ths. It moves us away from our target. Remember, when we're in minor, our constant is the A flat, and when we borrow from major, we introduce the A natural. This creates a very wonky and unfamiliar sort of sound. This movement is really jarring to the ear, and it just doesn't sound good. The A flat in G7 flat 9 that wants to go to G is now moving away when we use an A from the major key. And that completely destroys its purpose. The same goes for the 13th. The E in G7 wants to stay there or maybe even move to the D, the 9th in C major. When we use an E flat, the flat 13th from the minor mode, we're turning the original E into an E flat, making this note closer to its target, the D. But if we're in C minor, when we replace the E flat with an E from the major mode, we're once again moving away from the target, D. And the same happens to the 4 chord and the 2 chord. The A in F or D minor wants to go to G in C major or minor. So a 4 minor in C major sounds beautiful. And the same goes for a 2 minor 7 when we turn it into a D minor 7 flat 5. But if we borrow the 4 or the 2 from major while in minor, we get something that goes against tonality. So is it possible to borrow from major? Are there any exceptions to this rule? Well, what happens when we use a Picardy third at the end of a song? And that sounds awesome, right? Ending a minor song on a major 1 chord is really effective. Bach used this technique all the time. But let me ask you something. Is this borrowing from major on the last chord of the song, or does the last chord reveal to us that we were borrowing from minor the entire time without ever realizing it? Go ahead and let us know what you think in the comments down below. As always, we're going to offer some supplementary material on today's topic for our members. If you're not a member, go ahead and click on the join button or the link down below. Thanks always for watching. If you like content like this, we have plenty of awesome music books and apps on our website, mdex.com. By the way, if you get there and we're not on sale, don't get anything right away. Instead, make sure to subscribe to our mailing list. We do a sale every month, and you can only find out about these sales through our email list. So go to mdex.com and make sure to subscribe to the mailing list, and we'll send you a heads up every time we're on sale. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.